Greetings to our view this morning's weather bulletin. We're tracking a rapidly developing coastal low just off the southeastern United States, a nor'easter-type extratropical cyclone. It is not a tropical storm, but it can still deliver strong winds, banded bursts of heavy rain, wind-driven coastal water rise, and beach erosion along the eastern seaboard this weekend into early next week. To start, we'll go in detail along a south to north timeline so you know where the heaviest rain is likely, where winds will be strongest, which tide windows are most sensitive, and what coastal hazards to prepare for. Right after that, we'll zoom out to the national picture for today, highlighting the flood risk in the southwest as a plume of tropical moisture from the eastern Pacific is drawn inland and interacts with mountainous terrain, priming the setup for flash floods, canyon washouts, and urban inundation. As always, if you find this update helpful, please like and subscribe, and if you have any prayer requests for yourself or a loved one, leave them in the comments. Our community is here to share and support one another. Let's begin. First, a quick clarification on the nature of this system. This is a coastal low formed by the interaction of cold air, the jet stream's entrance, exit regions aloft, and warm, humid air advecting in from the Atlantic. Its structure is cold core with sharp horizontal temperature-moisture contrasts, very different from a warm core tropical cyclone. On satellite, you'll see cold-topped convective clusters just offshore of the southeast, evidence that upper-level dynamics are flipping the switch for explosive banded convection. Over the next 1 to 2 days, as the low locks in with the upper-level flow and a deep moisture feed, it will organize rain bands parallel to the coast while establishing a persistent northeasterly fetch into shore, roughening seas and pushing water into back bays and river mouths, raising tidal flooding risks during high tide windows. Florida will feel the early impacts, though generally more moderate than points farther north. From the Space Coast up to Jacksonville today into early tomorrow, expect periods of showers and storms, with coastal gusts of 25 to 35 miles per hour and locally higher at exposed capes. Rain totals will commonly range from about 0.5 to 2, depending on how long bands stall, toward midday and afternoon tomorrow. Some mid-level dry air may mix down across North Florida, allowing brief breaks, thinner clouds, more intermittent rain, while breezes persist but are less forceful. Coastal Georgia should see a similar setup, onshore winds, rough surf, quick-moving bands. Extremes aren't the main story yet. The worst will be reserved for farther north as the low becomes better organized. Moving into the Carolinas, the picture turns more intense. The South Carolina coast and especially northeastern North Carolina will see rain ramp up during the latter half of Saturday. The Outer Banks, narrow and erosion-prone, likely face their worst window from Saturday night into early Sunday. Prolonged onshore northeaster lies can pile water against the shore, elevating levels in sounds and back channels, combined with large offshore waves. That raises the risk of beach erosion and roadway flooding. Particularly around high tide, coastal rainfall totals may reach 1 to 3, with localized 3 to 4, where bands park. Gusts of 35 to 50 miles per hour are likely along capes, sea bridges, and other exposed stretches, inland toward Raleigh-Fayetteville. Rain will arrive in pulses with totals varying based on band pivots. Across Hampton Roads, Virginia's Tidewater, and the Delmarva Peninsula, the core impacts shift into Sunday. A tight pressure wind gradient along the shore in persistent northeaster lies could produce gusts around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Locally higher in the most exposed spots. Rain becomes steadier, with pinwheeling bands sweeping through multiple times before lifting north. Wind-driven water plus waves will heighten minor tidal flooding risk in inlets and low-lying bays. Especially at high tide, avoid driving low causeways during peak tide to stay safe. From New Jersey northward into New York City, Long Island and southern New England, Monday stands out as the headline day. This is classic early season nor'easter flavor, leaden skies, a chilly feel, marine air squeezing into the coast, dense rain bands sweeping through, and occasional embedded wind surges that make conditions feel suddenly worse. The New Jersey shore may be among the hardest hit for wind, surf, and notable erosion. Protruding headlands, barrier islands, and seaside bridge approaches should prepare for 45 to 55 miles per hour gusts. Briefly higher if the low tracks closer to shore. NYC, Long Island may see 35 to 45 miles per hour gusts. Strongest at the east end and along the south shore, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard, and Nantucket will likely run 30 to 45 miles per hour. Rainfall will generally be 1 to 3, but slow-moving coastal bands could locally add up to 4 to 5, enough to trigger urban flooding, especially if high tides slow drainage. For a quick risk summary: rain, East Florida coast, approximately 0.5 to 2. Coastal Georgia, similar. Carolinas, 1 to 3, with 3 to 4 on the Outer Banks. Virginia, Delmarva, 1 to 3. New Jersey to Long Island and southern New England, 1 to 3. With narrow 4 to 5 stripes near stalled bands. Wind, generally 30 to 45 miles per hour along the shore, 45 to 55 miles per hour on capes, barrier islands, and exposed bridge ramps. A few highly exposed Outer Banks or New Jersey headlands could briefly touch approximately 60 miles per hour if the gradient tightens. Coastal water rise, spotty minor to locally moderate tidal flooding possible around high tide in back bays where persistent northeaster lies, stack, water. Erosion, continued to locally significant at known weak points, parts of the Outer Banks, New Jersey barrier islands, and segments of Long Island's South Shore. Power outages, scattered where stronger gusts overlap saturated ground, pre-charge devices. Stage flashlights, and check sump pumps. Travel and safety notes: avoid parking on low roads near canals, estuaries, and bayfronts during high tide. Secure outdoor items. Clear drains before rain arrives. Keep phones charged and lighting ready. On barrier islands, check the late night, early morning high tide times and consider adjusting travel ahead of water rise. Do not venture onto jetties, headlands, or piers during large surf. Small craft should remain in port. Air travelers to, from EWR, JFK, LGA, PHL, BOSS, and BDL during peak wind, rain, especially Sunday night through Monday, should budget extra time for delays. A quick tropical check. Jerry remains a tropical depression, weak tropical storm with structure sheared by mid-level dryness and vertical wind shear. It brings rain, wind bands to parts of the Lesser Antilles but then tracks poleward and away from land. Karen, a short-lived subtropical system over the North Atlantic's cooler waters, is weakening quickly. Net, aside from bumping up swell along some shipping routes, neither poses a direct threat to the U.S. East Coast within the timeframe of today's bulletin. Now the national canvas for today and the weekend. Two dominant patches. First, the coastal nor'easter we've covered in depth. Second, and the concern out west, the tropical moisture plume arcing into the southwest. Deep moisture overrunning terraced terrain, foothill cities, and limited drainage systems raises a very real threat of flash flooding, fast-moving canyon flows, and urban waterlogging. Arizona, Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, New Mexico, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, southern Utah, southern Colorado, and even far west Texas, El Paso can expect multiple rounds of afternoon into night thunderstorms, with episodes repeating over 2 to 3 days. Old burn scars are high risk for debris flows. Slot canyons are inherently dangerous in this setup. Water can surge dozens of inches in minutes. The golden rule here: never drive through floodwaters. Even if they look shallow, roadbeds can be undermined and invisible. The West Coast and Pacific Northwest today see a glancing shortwave, scattered light rain in Washington, Oregon north. Breezy at times. Most of California stays dry, aside from a few mountain storms in the far south as moisture streams in. The central and southern plains remain warm and fairly quiet. Along the northern tier near Canada, weak waves bring spotty showers and a few rumbles. The Ohio Valley Great Lakes may see light, nuisance showers with a weak trough, No major signals until the northwestern flank of the coastal low brushes New England early next week. The inland southeast, Georgia, Alabama, interior Florida, and the Carolina Piedmont features sun-cloud mix with onshore flow lending a milder, more autumn feel. Most rain focuses near the coast. The northeast today stays mostly cool and dry before trending windier, wetter Monday across the far southeast of the region. For weekend planning, here are some sensitive coastal corridors and cities. Jacksonville, Florida. Banded showers tonight into tomorrow morning. Coastal gusts 25 to 35 miles per hour. 0.5-1.5. Rain. Possible midday lull tomorrow. Charleston, SC. Northeaster lies builds Saturday. Drizzle evolving to showers. Approximately 0.5-1.5. Rain depending on bands. Wilmington, NC. Heavier rain Saturday afternoon, evening. Early Sunday gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour. 1 to 3. Rain total. Outer Banks, NC. Worst window Sat night early sun. Gusts 40 to 55 miles per hour. 2 to 4. Rain. Notable tidal flooding risk. Norfolk, Virginia Beach, VA. Sunday is the main day. Gusts 35 to 45 miles per hour. 1 to 2 plus. Rain. Watch coastal water rise advisories. Ocean City, MD, Rehoboth, DA. Late Sunday into Monday. 35 to 45 miles per hour gusts. 1 to 3. Rain. Erosion concerns. New Jersey Shore, Atlantic City right pointing arrow Asbury Park, sun night into Mon. 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts. Higher on exposed capes. 1 to 3. Rain with 4 to 5, narrow bands. Elevated erosion risk. NYC, Long Island. Monday focus. 35 to 45 miles per hour gusts. East End near 50. 1 to 3. Rain. Watch high tide windows. Providence, Cape and Islands. Mon afternoon evening. 30 to 45 miles per hour gusts. 1 to 2. Rain. Southwest. Phoenix, Tucson. Daily storm chances. Locally torrential cores. Flagstaff, periodic rain. Canyon flash flood alerts. Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Repeat rounds 2 to 3 days. Las Vegas. Isolated downpours with rapid street flooding in low spots. Treat these numbers as operational guidance so you can plan proactively. Because this is a cold core system whose evolution hinges on dynamic moisture-ocean tide coupling. Even small shifts in the low's position can deflect banding by tens of miles, making one area wetter and another unexpectedly quieter. Pair your planning with local tide charts and short fuse statements from the National Weather Service and local emergency managers, especially if you live on barrier islands, low-lying sea dikes, or around Back Bay lagoons. Before we close, 3 key points. 1. This is not a tropical cyclone. Don't expect a classical eye or hurricane eye wall. But persistent northeaster lies plus large surf are still enough to cause trouble along the coast. Notably erosion and tidal flooding. 2. The time windows. Sat night sun morning as the hot zone for the Outer Banks. Sunday focuses on Tidewater Delmarva. Monday is the peak for New Jersey, Long Island, southern New England. 3. In the southwest. Flash flood risk is very real in the next 48 to 72 hours. Consider postponing hikes, mountain trips, and slot canyon excursions if widespread storms are forecast. That concludes our morning bulletin. If this was useful, please hit like so the algorithm shares it more widely. Subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss updates when the low jogs or new tidal advisories are issued. And as is our tradition, if you have a prayer request for health, family, work, or travel, please leave it below. We will pray with you and for you, and walk together through these windy, rainy days with peace and vigilance. Wishing you a safe and thoughtful day wherever you're headed. See you in our next update. God bless.